The Birds and Niners' final injury reports for Sunday's wildcard matchup just dropped. And while it's green lights and all go for the Eagles, San Fran's attempt to hide their multitude of problems has finally been exposed. And trust me, it's not good. Plus, why Jalen Hurts presents a new challenge for Robert Saleh this season, but Saquon Barkley confirmed that you need to hear today. The biggest reason the Birds are finally going to slow down Christian McCaffrey. Thomas Mott, this is the Thomas Mott Show. It's no secret that over the past 4 seasons, the Eagles and 49ers have become one of the NFC's best, most hated, most recent non-division rivalries. And all it really took was San Francisco getting completely destroyed at the link in the 2022 NFC title game, complaining about it, then turning right back around, and in 2023 basically exposing the Birds for the frauds that they were. Just 2 games. That's it. That's literally all it took to have both fan bases at each other's throats on social media every single season. And yet, this time around, in another winner-take-all matchup in the NFC, both sides seem really quite tame, as one side tries to hide its ever-growing list of injuries that got worse today, while the other prays their offensive coordinator doesn't ruin everything. First though, as promised, the winner of the Birds Wave 1 Sports hoodie, this bad boy right here, is announced at the end of today's video, so watch till the end to see if you won. Plus, I have an unopened Jordan Spector Art Immortals collector card. This is the Devontae Smith variety. I'm going to give this away on Monday's show to one person who likes today's video and then goes down below. And why don't you correctly predict the winner of each wild card game this weekend? We'll exclude the Monday Nighter because I'm going to announce the winner on Monday afternoon. But get them right, and then you're in a pool to be selected for really one winner to win this bad boy right here. Happy guessing. Now, despite tons of Birds fans scared of Kevin Patullo sinking their season on Sunday, I honestly feel more confident than ever. Part of that is schematics, part of that is matchups. I'll show you in a little bit. The other part is obviously their health, because Philadelphia has it, and 49ers, they're hiding their lack of it. All 53 players on the Birds roster practiced on Friday, including Greg Calcaterra, Jalen Carter, Nakobe Dean, Marcus Epps, Lane Johnson, and even Jalen Phillips. And every single one of those players will play on Sunday, meaning Philadelphia is going to have 21 of their original 22 starters on the entire offense and defense suited up and playing in a wildcard game, the exception being Drew Makuba. But basically, the answer today on a Friday, how's the Eagles' health looking? They're all 100% healthy. There was really never a major worry about guys like Lane Johnson or Nakobe Dean. Would they play? Would they not play? We talked about this earlier in the week. But in Lane's case, he had to get on the practice field. We needed to see him officially test that foot. What do you know? He's been out there running around in all 3 practices this week, perhaps justifying Nick Sirianni's decision to rest his starters in Week 18, as long as the now rested Birds look sharp this coming Sunday. Likewise, Nakobe Dean already confirmed he was going to play, but now it's officially official. 17 will be out there. He will start in, the Philly defense, I think it's going to be great. And obviously, it's all big news for Philadelphia, but it's not a surprise, right? We knew that Lane Johnson and Nakobe Dean were going to be out there. Now it's official. That's great. Drop a like down below. What's crazy, though, is flipping over to San Francisco, they have some serious problems that further kind of reared their ugly head in Friday's practice. First off, it does not seem like Dee Winters is going to play this week, as he did not practice the past 2 days, and then today didn't officially practice, was working off to the side. Not a good sign. He's probably out. That's actually kind of a similar situation for Ricky Pearsall. Didn't practice on Wednesday, was seen working off to the side on Thursday, and then was not seen again on Friday. He will officially be listed as questionable, but all insiders are saying he's going to be a massive, massive long shot to play. I would not expect to see him out there on Sunday. And let's just say the impossible happens. Ricky Pearsall is questionable going into Sunday, and then he actually plays on Sunday. That PCL is not going to be 100%. Even if they inject stuff, maybe he can get out there and run around a little bit. But Pearsall's big strength is his deep ball ability, his ability to separate from cornerbacks, right? He's an elusive, quick cut, get open kind of player. It's not going to be 100%. He's not going to be able to do that. Ricky Pearsall, virtually out. Even if he's out there, it's just not looking good for the wide receiver. And then, of course, there's the biggest injury, both literally and figuratively, of them all, Trent Williams. Suffered a hamstring injury last week. You guys know this. Did not practice on Wednesday. Was out there on Thursday, but then on Friday was dressed, but worked individually away from his fellow linemen. And that's a big point, because a lot of national media networks and media opponents are saying, oh, Trent Williams practiced yesterday. He's been kind of off to the side doing individual stuff. He's not been a full go. He has been limited. I think that's a big, big telling sign about how healthy that hamstring actually is. I mean, just listen to Pro Football Doc David Chow mention earlier this week that hamstring injuries on big offensive linemen, aka big players like Trent Williams, are brutal. Pretending like he's going to be able to pass set or pass block at 100% on Sunday seems to be like some serious wishful thinking.
Trent Williams suffered a Week 17 hamstring strain chasing down a pick six, has not practiced since, and it is very difficult to pass set with a hamstring, left hamstring for Trent Williams.
Trent Williams, however, is officially listed as questionable. My guess is he will be out there on Sunday, but as we just mentioned, is he going to be 100%? Can you inject the hamstring enough to make him not have pain? Can he run on it? Will Jalen Phillips be able to cook him? I don't know. But to me, he's not going to be 100%. And that's the key factor here for the 49ers going into this game on Sunday. They're already down a bunch of players. I mean, their best player in Trent Williams is going to be limited. Can Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey pull them from their bootstraps? We'll see. But overall, obviously, I'm taking Philly. Also, no matter how you're watching football, this postseason, my sponsor Underdog has you guys covered. For the NFL playoffs here, new customers get $75 in bonus entries when you play just $5 to get started. Just use my code Mott when you sign up and it'll load instantly. And for Wildcard Weekend, Underdog's adding a gimme pick on a quarterback of your choice. I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts for any of the Wildcard games to get started. And of course, I've already locked in my picks for the Wildcard Weekend, including Eagles versus the 49ers. Let's go A.J. Brown, higher than 65.5 receiving yards. Bad secondary, A.J.'s going to eat. A Brock Purdy interception for sure. Dallas Goedert, he's going to score a touchdown higher than 0.5 rushing receiving touchdowns. And a big Saquon Barkley day on the ground, higher than 79.5 rushing yards. Underdog's also available in most states, including Texas, California, and Oklahoma. Again, just use my code MOD to get $75 when you play $5, make these playoff weekends even more fun. Now, of course, all the injuries aside, I always find it so funny how, come playoff time, fans will latch on to even the smallest bit of hope to try to convince themselves that their team is going to win. And us Bird fans, well, we've been no different this week, as two simple tweets went viral the past couple of days, starting with Elliott Shore-Parks claiming, quote, "It's an extremely loose and loud Eagles locker room. Players hanging out at each other's locker. A.J. Brown is leading the way." Which honestly shouldn't mean much unless you remember how loose the Birds felt in each of their 2022 and 2024 Super Bowl runs. Loose, confident, cool, calm, collected, whatever you want to call it, vibes 100% matter in the playoffs. At least that's what I think. And I think you guys think it as well, and apparently Saquon Barkley does during his weekly press conference a couple of days ago.
Saquon, how would you describe the vibe of the locker room?
Can you hear? I think the vibes are great. The vibes been great all year, but when you get to the playoffs, it goes to another level. That's probably my favorite part of playing football. Outside, obviously, the Super Bowl, that's pretty fun too. But want to go home. The speed increases. How important the plays matter more. So the vibes are high. We're excited for it. And we know we got a great opponent coming in, and the mindset is just win.
Then the second viral tweet everyone's freaking out about, which I find a bit more ridiculous, was the Eagles social media team releasing this very simple practice mashup like they usually do. Players running around, doing their stuff, no big deal. But fans online saw this 2-second clip of Jalen Hurts running and exclaimed that QB1 has his speed back and therefore will be a legit rushing threat starting Sunday. I get it. I want Jalen Hurts to be 100% and running like crazy on Sunday. We'll see if he's going to actually do that, but it's a 2-second clip. Surely we can't take too much from that. I also looked at Jalen Hurts' 9 playoff starts to date, which is crazy how many he has, but he has 9, and there's really no correlation between big running days from QB1 with wins or losses. As sure, he had just 5 rushing yards in Philadelphia's 2023 wildcard loss to the Bucs, then he had just 16 in their NFC Championship game romping of the Washington Commanders in 2024. And twice in Super Bowls, he's had a ton of rushing yards on the ground, 70 plus in both 2022 and 2024. He won 2024 and lost 2022. So again, no correlation. I did, though, find Jalen Hurts' press conference answer this week to the very question of why haven't you run more in games this entire season a little bit frustrating, because he basically says here it's because KP's not calling them.
No, I think the season's just kind of gone the way it has. The approach this year and how the games have been called with this coordinator, with Coach KP, it's just kind of going that way. And so I'm just kind of taking it in stride and try to give my best for whatever position I've been put in.
But the positive in all this is that San Francisco has truly faced one, quote-unquote, running or dual-threat quarterback this season. It's only back in Week 4 versus Kyler Murray. He only had 37 yards on the ground, and they did technically lose. But then, back in November, Jackson Dart, I guess he's a dual threat, maybe more so I'm giving him credit for, he had 56 yards on the ground, the most of any quarterback versus the 49ers this season, and they put up a lot of points and nearly won that game. I think it's very obvious that Jalen Hurts is going to be the most prolific runner the 49er defense has seen all season long. They have not been able to prep for this, and that is a big advantage. So KP, Kevin, if I can call you that, just call some design quarterback runs on Sunday. Please let Jalen Hurts be mobile. And it's not just quarterback runs, play action rollouts, get him out of the pocket, do whatever you have to do to stay balanced, but also use every weapon you have. And one of the big ones, I think, on Sunday is going to be Jalen Hurts' legs running all over the Niner defense. And then, just like how the 49ers haven't faced hardly any dual-threat quarterbacks until this Sunday in Jalen Hurts, I was also shocked by the numbers that top wide receivers in the NFL have gotten against this suspect secondary. Like, I knew there had to be a reason why this was the 25th worst pass defense in the NFL, but look at this. Literally every single wide receiver one they faced has absolutely gone off. Meaning A.J. Brown, his over-under, I think, is 69.5 passing yards on Sunday. I'm taking the over on that one. I think he's going to go absolutely nuts versus the 49ers. Speaking of nuts, and this is completely random, nothing to do with Jalen Hurts or really technically A.J. Brown, but did you know that the Eagles are 7-1 this year when Tank Bigsby gets just two or more carries, and they're 4-5 when he gets one or fewer? Again, random, probably means nothing. Can't put too low, please. I'm begging you. Now, 49er fans will be very quick to point out that the one time Jalen faced current 49er DC Robert Saleh was that disastrous 3-turnover game versus the Jets in 2023. But honestly, one example, I went back and watched the film on this one, Jalen actually threw for a ton of yards in this one. He just had one too many turnovers. That's a talking point definitely in San Francisco this week. It doesn't really ruffle my feathers. I'm confident. Sue me. I know a lot of Eagle fans are worried, and it's like, Ken Patullo could go ahead and ruin the day for us. Sure, they could technically lay an egg on offense on Sunday, but this is not a scary 49er defense. And if they can't score versus this 49er defense, I've said it before, they did not deserve to be in this position. Don't let Jalen Hurts gaslight you earlier this week during his press conference where he said, it's a really scary defense, really well coached, maybe, but if this offense can't score, what are we actually doing?
They're a really good team. We have really good coaching. And they play very hard, fly to the ball, very physical. You see a theme in the style of defense that they played throughout the years, and that's why they're always up there playing for championships.
But then, of course, there is the other aspect of San Francisco, the scarier part, in my opinion, the 49er offense, which, just like the defense, is banged up, as we talked about, but still dangerous because of one, maybe two players. That one, though, Christian McCaffrey. And while he has had just 4 100-yard games on the ground this season, nothing crazy, he has been so darn effective as the 49ers' top pass-catching option as well, with 7+ targets. This is crazy out of the backfield and a whopping 11 games this year.
That's the top of the list because he got 100 catches in the pass game, and then on top of that, he got a good online that's blocking for him, and Purdy is getting the ball to him, as much as he can.
They got a good explosive offense. They got a good explosive offense. They're great at what they do, and they work well together. So we got to make sure we do what we do, be physical, have our technique, and play our game.
But per usual, I have a counter because I think Vic Fangio really covers a multitude of sins. And Philadelphia's defense, to boot, has faced a ton of top-tier running backs who also catch the ball well out of the backfield this season. Only one of them had a big game. That was Jahmyr Gibbs. And despite his 100-yard receiving day, Detroit still only managed 9 points in 4 quarters as an offense. The one area where Christian McCaffrey could really get to Philadelphia is outside zone runs because he's averaging 5 yards per rush on outside zone runs the entire season. Philadelphia's been a little bit suspect there. But again, Vic Fangio has been really, really good. I'm curious how he handles McCaffrey as a whole. I just think they're going to have a really, really strong day versus an injured and not that threatening receiver-wise 49er offense. I'm also curious how Vic Fangio will decide to play Brock Purdy because on one hand, Purdy's thrown a ton of interceptions this year, 10 in the 9 games he's played. He's only lost 2 of those 9 games. The turnovers technically have not really hurt him. He's also only been sacked 11 times in those 9 games, which is pretty crazy. It's one, basically, a game. There's a couple games he's been sacked 3 times. But Philadelphia getting Purdy to the ground is going to be a very, very key factor in this game. Jalen Phillips said it. He basically has some pocket maneuverability like Josh Allen and even Patrick Mahomes.
I think Purdy does a great job of being mobile, the accurate ball. He's he kind of reminds me a little bit of Mahomes, Allen in the way that he can kind of make plays with his feet and extend plays of that nature. I actually played against him in his first NFL game, so that was pretty cool. He beat us, so looking to get some revenge.
In the end, though, we can talk about this stat, or this play, or that play, or this injury, or that injury, but I've said all week, and I'm going to maintain this. Philadelphia is the better team. They should win this game. The only way they don't is if they beat themselves, whether it's turnovers or sacks or penalties. You guys know the drill. We've seen it all happen so far this season. Basically, if KP lays an egg on offense, which is possible, they could lose. But I told Josh Davis, again, earlier this week, I find that highly unlikely Philadelphia is going to win. I'm feeling a lot better than I think a lot of Eagle fans are. I think a lot of Eagle fans are worried about Ken Patullo, right? They're worried that San Francisco and Brock Purdy are going to figure things out. Christian McCaffrey this, Christian McCaffrey that. Philadelphia is going to win this game on Sunday, Josh. And I think they're going to win it pretty handily. Nick Sirianni, I saw a great tweet yesterday. Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts have basically only been in blowouts in the postseason, right? The Ram game last year in the divisional round is basically the exception to the rule. They're either getting blown out, like against Tampa Bay Buccaneers, for example, or they're blowing people out, right? And you take away the Super Bowl in 2022 and the Ram game this past season, they kill people. And I think Philadelphia at home against what the reality comes down to is a very banged up 49er team. If this was a 49er team with Nick Bosa and Fred Warner and Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, we'd all be like, okay, this is a serious matchup. I still lean Vic Fangio, but it's a serious matchup. This is a football team that has nobody on defense. I mean, sit back and name a 49er defender, like just off the top of your head. Let alone name 3 of them, 4 of them, because all their starters are out. And then offensively, Ricky Pearsall doesn't play. You stop Juwan Jennings and Christian McCaffrey and Philadelphia wins. And so can they lose on Sunday? Obviously. And we'll talk about plenty of ways that they can do that. And Capitulo is right at the forefront. But I think Philadelphia wins this one. And if they, as you have told me privately many times, win the first, you think they're going all the way. And I feel very confident that that's the case as well. It's not going to be a scenario where they're 1 and then they lose the divisional round. If they get rolling much like last season, I think that they can go all the way, at least to the NFC title game in Seattle.
I agree. Yes. And like you said, we mentioned it multiple times offline, but it does. It feels like it's either a one and done or you go all the way. Now, I feel great about you saying that you feel like it's going to be a win. And not only that, it's going to be a resounding win, or at least a pretty confident win there. So, and yes, I did see the tweet that you were referencing as well. You know, the 5-0 in the home games, as you mentioned, the plus 105 point differential. We can think about all those games.
It's pretty good.
You and I have been at 2 of those games, the NFC Championship. So if the Eagles so happen to host the NFC Championship, we will be there. Hopefully that's something that we're discussing, you know, at a later date. But it's, yeah, they've taken advantage of different matchups. You do see the defense, or the lack of the defense that the Niners have, like you mentioned there. Question, I think, on everyone's mind, and understandably so. We'll probably have some more clarity today, but it most likely won't be official until tomorrow or Friday, whenever the official. But Lane Johnson, right? So it's Lane Johnson. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? November 16th, I think, somewhere around there was whenever he suffered the injury.
A long time.
It's been a while, and, you know, you get a lot of different takes from some people saying, like, oh, it's a Lisfranc injury. Good luck on him coming back at all. Like, this was back whenever it first happened. And they could be excruciating, especially a bigger guy like Lane Johnson. I mean, it's a smaller tendon there as it is. So, you know, what's going to happen? But then we've had for, the last 3 weeks, Adam Schefter, a mixture of Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, NFL insiders that are in the know to go, well, Lane Johnson's going to be back. He'll be playing for the Raiders in the Raiders game. It didn't happen. He'll be playing in the Commanders game. Didn't happen. We'll be playing against the Bills. Still didn't happen. So there's just some oddities there. Now, I believe personally that it's him. If he didn't need to play, then go ahead and give him rest. But they could have gone ahead and just shut him down on the IR and give yourself some 4 weeks at least, and not have to, you know, figure out a roster spot. That all is just weird how they're doing it. But now you get the mixture of reports, and Brian Baldinger saying at first, like, oh, he's not sure that Lane is going to play, but Adam Schefter saying he would be shocked if Lane does not play. And then Baldy coming back and tweeting earlier, I guess this morning, that Lane would be playing. Then he has since deleted that tweet. So it's all over. Like, there's so many takes both ways. I'm feeling like that he's probably going to play, but again, we'll see the first official practice that they have today, and is he out there? To what status? Is he limited? And even to that extent. But Lane Johnson playing is obviously, nobody needs to be told this, but is obviously a huge difference whether he does or not.
Yeah, and that has to be the mindset going into this one. And I think that would be the consolation prize. If Philadelphia can't beat the banged-up Niners, if the offense barely scores 15, 16, 17 points, whatever the number is, they're going to let Ken Patullo go. And most Eagle fans, I'd say the vast majority, would be happy with that outcome. Now, not happy that they lost, but happy that at least because they lost and proved that they didn't really deserve to be there in the first place, and it was 2023 all over again, you get your chance at a brand new offensive coordinator and an early shot at that said position, because the problem Philadelphia is going to have if they make an NFC title game is how many of the offensive coordinators they'd be interested in are still going to be on the market, right? This is the same problem last season. One of the main reasons why they went ahead and, internally hired Ken Patullo, because most teams are going to have their staffs pretty figured out by the Super Bowl, if not a little bit earlier. And so this whole idea, I know the super chat about Cliff Kingsbury, we'll talk about him, I'm sure. Is Cliff going to be there 3 weeks from now? not necessarily a guarantee. Whereas I think 1 week from now, or less than a week, because it'd be Black Monday for Philadelphia if they lose on Sunday afternoon, you could then fire Ken Patullo and insert somebody new pretty darn quickly. But again, let's hope that's not the case. Let's hope Philadelphia wins this football game, because offensively, they should be able to score points against this Niner defense, Josh. We have got to stress.
They should.
I tried to do this in my show yesterday. 2 bad cornerbacks. They do not have the safeties that they once had. And their linebackers are potentially going to be 2 third stringers, potentially 2 guys who were on the street a couple of weeks ago. Eric Kendricks didn't have a team 4 weeks ago. And I see a bunch of Niner people on Twitter be like, yeah, but Eric Kendricks had 138 tackles last season. Why was he a free agent 4 weeks ago? They just signed Kazir White, former Eagles legend Kazir White. Why was Kazir White a free agent as of yesterday? Come on,
last time he played was September 21st this season. September 21st. He's been on the couch for, he's been bouncing around, but since September.
And if you're the Niners, right, pick your poison. And now it's different than it was in 2024, where it was like, if you don't stop Saquon Barkley, you are screwed. But I do think that their interior defense, especially at the linebacker spot, is so weak that Saquon can have a big game early on, that Jalen running, hopefully can have a big game early on. Mm-hmm. They then have to sell it to stop the run. And then you put those cornerbacks one-on-one against Smitty and AJ. It should be good luck. I really feel like Philadelphia should be able to win this football game. We all go, oh, well, yeah, that makes sense. The only way is if Brock Purdy goes lights out, which Brock Purdy has moments. I think it's one of the best Brock Purdy seasons, in recent history. I know the injury's been a problem, but the past month he's been really good. And then, of course, Christian McCaffrey going nuts. But there hasn't been a running back that's gone nuts against this Philadelphia defense basically the entire year. Like the Bear game, to me, is this microcosm. They caught us at a bad time, short week. Philadelphia was, they just played a bunch of snaps on defense. But you talk about Jahmyr Gibbs, you talk about Josh Jacobs, you talk about James Cook, that was without Nakobe Dean a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Cream of the crop, I would consider better running backs, all 3 of those, at least statistically this season. I think Jacobs is probably a little bit closer, but same caliber as Christian McCaffrey, and they've shut him down. So stop Christian McCaffrey, and then Q shuts down Juwan Jennings. Does Kittle go for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns on Sink Philadelphia? I don't think so. So I don't know. Am I overly confident? Because you've been texting me. You don't sound very confident.
Yeah.
I think you're a little bit more worried. We'll see, though. And I'm curious what you guys think down below in the comment section. Are you nervous? Are you excited? Are you confident? I think most of you guys are confident. I read all the comments in the week, the past couple of days, and I think most of you guys are. There's the KP worry, the offense worry, but we'll see. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be streaming the game live on Sundays. If you're going to tune into that, probably live around 4 p.m. Eastern time. If you're not come to a stream yet, this is a great time. Playoffs, they're super fun. And also, without further ado, the winner of the Wave 1 Sports Birds Hoodie Giveaway happening this week, this bad boy right here, absolutely love this thing, was we selected subscriber who dropped the right comment. I think it was 2 videos ago, Isaiah Thompson 4314. He said the Birds are going to win because of experience, being in this position, also being healthy is huge going to the playoffs. Shout out to the training staff, and I could not agree more. So Isaiah, let me know down below in the description box. Send me an email, prove it's you, size, color, address, all that sort of stuff. Get it sent out. And plenty more giveaways, including the one we mentioned earlier in the video, happening next week. Hopefully another playoff week. We'll see. I'm nervous, but I'm not that nervous. I'm pumped. Let's play football. We'll see what happens. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been Thomas Mott Show.